Hello, everybody, and welcome to our show today on Matrix Productions Media, where, as always, I am joined by my brilliant co-host, Beth Donnelly.
Hi, everybody.
Beth and I are really excited to be speaking with award-winning personal growth transformationalist, wealth and business growth consultant, Harrison Klein. Thank you so much for joining us today, Harrison.
My pleasure to be here, guys. Good to see you.
This is going to be a fun conversation. Beth and I have really been looking forward to this. Harrison has written a new book series titled The Amazing Life-Changing Messages from the Light. And we're going to talk about that today. This is a series quite different from something you all may be used to, and it is really fun, fascinating, and while it's playful, it is also often quite profound. And so now, before we start talking about these books, let me just tell you all a little bit about him. Harrison Klein is dedicated to helping entrepreneurs, executives, coaches, marketers, and healers build multi-million-dollar companies and achieve the very best versions of themselves and reach personal and/or business fulfillment. He also designs dynamic information products, speaks at and produces events, and loves to travel the world. Who doesn't, right? Harrison sits on the board of several multi-million-dollar organizations, including the Evolutionary Business Council, the First World Spiritual Parliament, the New York Association for Research and Enlightenment, and is the American delegate to India for World United Speakers. Now, why does Harrison do all these things? To move humanity to great velocity toward a better and more amazing future. He loves to work with people to create conscious elevation through unique, successful companies, products, and I'm reading this obviously, so let me just read that again because he loves to work with people to create conscious elevation through unique, successful companies, products, and create legacies that are living organisms that will last long after the CEO departs. Well, Harrison, that was a mouthful. How are you doing today?
I had to pay a copywriter a lot of money for that.
That was great. What a great intro, though. That's really juicy. That's fun.
Okay, thanks. Okay, so you started to ask me a question, which was...
Well, I guess it would be nice to start by just telling everybody a little bit about what your motivation was to write these books.
Oh, okay. Well,
yeah, what was your inspiration?
See, I believe in products and people that help self-realization. I believe in radical transformation, and I have a vision for a conscious world. And I believe that there's a wisdom and intelligence that moves through us, that moves through all of us. I believe there's a wisdom and intelligence that connects the dots for all of us to all things. And basically, I come across people on a consistent basis all the time, clients, students, other people that I just talk to, that don't have the connections that help them live fulfilled lives. And in the process of that, I have an obsession to help people to move into these higher levels of radical transformation. I mean, instant and radical transformation. That's what excites me. That really excites me. And I believe that anything can happen in a moment. And so certain kinds of enlightenments, certain kinds of word processes stimulate cellular experience within us that shifts us into new paradigms of understanding thought and neural pathways. And so, I'm obsessed with finding those moments for people. I'm obsessed with finding those moments for myself and others. I'm obsessed with higher consciousness, the higher self, and all these other things. And so I wrote this book so that, little snippets could have big transformations. So there's probably, I don't know, maybe 1,000 quotes, or not just quotes, but insights in small snippets in this book. And, they're just meant to be absorbed with instantaneous impact on everybody who reads the book. So it's really quite dramatic and profound. And, I have, without blowing my own horn, it also is humorous. So, I mean, you guys know me for a long time. We've known each other for a long time, and so you know that this, we have a playful relationship, as I do with nearly everybody, because I believe play is the foundation that we learn as children to understand the world. And
It's
so
really
in understanding the world, the more playful we are, the happier we are, the more effective we are, the more fun we have, and the greater becomes our connection to all other things and people. And the shamanic realms and the practical realms and the mystical realms and the joyous realms, all these things are places where all of us long to go and want to return each time we have an opportunity to. And the beauty about play is that it solves problems. It negates heavy duty problems. Laughter negates fear.
brings the energy level up.
Yeah, and it brings, not only brings the energy level up, but brings the consciousness level up.
Yeah.
So,
well, Harrison, I'm sorry. I'm just admiring your vision for a conscious world. I think that's a beautiful thought process and a beautiful vision. And just so that the people out there know, these books that you're writing are a compilation of social media posts over a really long period of time, and you have organized them, organized them into specific categories. And well, I must say that I've been sort of watching you do this too, and I've been very intrigued by your posts. And so I was wondering if you could just tell our viewers how you came up with your categories, because I know they're kind of based on categories. And did those come from your students, your coaching practice? How did you decide on what the categories would be?
Well, I actually did not decide on the categories themselves. The messages that I post really just sort of come through me on a daily basis. And then the categories were chosen after the messages were all up and there. So we just compiled them. I was in flow. There was nothing. I wasn't trying to give messages on love or give messages on money or give messages on that. I was just going through the messages, and then after we go through the messages, we say, well, this would fit in the love category. This would fit in the joy category. This would fit in the money category. So
that's kind of the best way to do it, isn't it, really? Because then it's the natural flow of the
spontaneous.
Yes, it's very spontaneous. I like
one of the things that I think is really ingenious about the way that this book is set up is that the three of us know as coaches that a synapse can change in a second, that a neural pathway can be created or uncreated in a second. And one of the things that's really fun about the way your books are formulated by thoughts, like flashes of lightning, right? And that any one of those posts, you never know which page you're going to be on, and which of those posts is going to be incredibly meaningful in your individual life. And every single person will read it a little bit differently based on their own experience. And if you reread it, you're going to find other things that hit you. And so I think it's a very unique way to format a volume, and I think it's really smart. I really like the way that you've done this, and I think it will be really a great read and very inspiring for a lot of people. So that's really fun.
In the words of Donald Trump, it's going to be a hit.
A Donald Trump prediction of success. It's going to be the greatest. Oh, that's so funny. Well, just to mention a few of the topics that you covered. In one of the volumes, you speak about relationships, truth, consciousness, awareness, cosmic communications, skills, love, attention, and focus. Those are all different topics that you have these the quotes listed under. And I know that you bring humor and playfulness into the mix with these very heady topics, which we've touched base on a little bit. Is there any level of metaphysical concepts that you think is kind of important for someone to already have before they pick up your books? Or do you think somebody who's really never even thought about consciousness would also make a good candidate to pick up your books?
Well, there is criteria for anybody. They have to be able to read. And they have to be open to accepting
Or
ideas.
have someone to read to them.
Or someone to read to them, and be open to accepting new ideas, because transformation happens in one of three ways, basically. One is that we change our self-image, and that creates a radical transformation. Second is that we create a new belief, and these are inspired to create new beliefs within us, because most of the time, most people's consciousness does not penetrate to the level of these messages. So these messages are incredibly stimulating. At least it's my belief that these messages are incredibly stimulating to open up new belief understandings and ideas. And the third way that we make transformation is through cataclysmic change. We either hit rock bottom, or something shocks us to the point of where we have a realization, an open realization. Like in my past, I had a white light experience. It was like a massive lightning experience. The Japanese call that a satori. It was a peak life experience, which set me on the road to all these kinds of things. And, in the contemplation of massive ideas, metaphysical and practical ideas, we come to the realization that that what we see is not all that's real, and that we are much more than the experience of our daily lives. And that in point of fact, we can reach those. And, we talk about, spiritual people talk about the veil, and they talk about, higher consciousness and higher self and all that. Well, it's incredibly difficult for people who have not been familiar with these ideas to get to that space. However, the thing is that we can incrementally grow into a place of purity. And the way we do that basically is by adopting new understandings of things and new beliefs. And in that place of purity, then we set ourselves up for the enlightenment experience, if you will, or the satori, or the kensho, or any of the other kinds of experiences that we have. And most of the time, most of us don't even know that it's happening, but when it becomes conscious, it's a very, very wonderful trip. It's kind of a luscious, delicious, phenomenal, beautiful, kind of, overwhelming, joyous thing. So, and that's what this book is all about. It's about, taking us to that place of where these realizations are so joyful and impactful that it opens us up. And in the opening, we actually, every time we open up to something new that's a belief, that is an insight beyond anything we've ever had before, we purify ourselves and we open ourselves up. We allow the channel of cosmic energy to come through us.
That's beautiful.
Well, yeah, I love it. I was just going to say that I think that just the fact that the book is titled "Amazing Life-Changing Messages from the Light," I guess someone is going to know that they're what they're getting into when they just crack the books open, right?
I hope it's descriptive.
I think it is, Harrison, because when you view them. When I have viewed them on Facebook, for instance, and people will comment and they'll say, "Oh, wow, Harrison, thank you so much. I never thought of it that way before." And it's kind of like what you were talking about. It just kind of opens them up to the light, and it may be a different way of thinking about things, because, of course, we know that people hold things in their subconscious and they may not even be aware that they have a particular view about something. And when you make some of these statements, it really resonates with them. So I think it's really quite amazing, and I love the whole idea of the satori experience. So I had a question that I wanted to ask you about. What are you hoping that people will come away with after reading your books?
Enlightenment.
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 What is enlightenment? I mean, a lot of people don't even know what that word means. What does it mean?
How to explain that?
It's a way overused word. There's no question about that. Yes. Well, the enlightenment experience is a place where we relax so deeply that we actually diminish or dissipate the line between all of our consciousnesses. There are three consciousnesses that we experience all the time, which most of us are not aware of. We're only aware of our conscious mind, but we're not aware of what's in our subconscious, and we're not aware of what's in our superconscious, which is the uber consciousness of everything. So the subconscious is what we have suppressed and pushed down so that we don't have to deal with, and it carries all of our unresolved issues, and it carries all of our conclusions that we want to have future decisions based upon, and so it regulates our behavior. Though we think we're consciously choosing our behavior, we're not. And then the superconscious is a place that is the connection to the greater cosmos. So we step into all these additional powers of psychic abilities, remote viewing, telepathy, all the powers of deep insights that mystics talk about at great length, and that psychics talk about. But when we unify these things, when we come into the unification of these things, there is no difference between the conscious, the subconscious, and the superconscious. So all information and experience is constantly being available to us in a continuous way. We step back from the human experience, which is a limited experience, into the unlimited experience, where we begin to be omnipotent, omnipotent, all the arms.
All the arms and all the Claires.
All the Claires and the arms. And
all the Claires and the arms.
All that stuff. And it becomes natural to us. It's not just something that, and it's nothing that we have to achieve. It's natural in that state, in this state. So
we allow it.
Yes, it's a self-realization, and so the things that were once hidden from us are now open and exposed. So hidden from us about ourselves and about other people, and we get to see the exact workings of the way our consciousness and our mind and our experience works. And from that place on, the how-to of everything becomes simple. So if you guys want great success out there, if you want great love, you guys want great, focus, great importance, significance, influence, et cetera, that comes from the enlightened experience. Otherwise, you're always in a struggle to achieve something. And it's natural in the enlightened experience. Go ahead, Beth. Yeah.
Oh, when you were talking about the superconscious, I was wondering if that part of the consciousness, that enlightenment consciousness, is including the oneness idea of everyone being more aware of their connection to everything, not only people but the universe. Is that part of that?
Well, in the state of being human, for the most part, we actually, when we are born, we come in holistically. So we come in as whole human beings, but we get distracted and redirected and, actually knocked off of the wholeness of who we are and become more and more fragmented until we're into our adulthood. And for the most part, I'd say a very, very high percentage of people on the planet are very fragmented about what they experience. In the enlightenment experience, or in the superconscious experience, the unity of all that comes back together again. And so it is the synthesis of opposites, if you will. So, we can say right and left, dark and light, up and down, et cetera, et cetera. But all those things we see in the human experience, we find those things as opposite and not connected. In the unity experience, those things are on a continuum, and we understand the level of the continuum and the direction of the continuum and the state of the continuum. So yeah, it's extraordinarily powerful. So the unity, so there's no duality in the unity experience. There's no you and me. There's just this experience, and it's not about self or anything else. It's about experience, which is a soul thing. The soul is not interested in information, and where most people go wrong is that they believe that they can get enough information and think their way into a higher state of consciousness. That's not how it works. The soul is only interested in experience. That's its entire interest. That's why we came into the human body and the human, planetary environment here. So ultimately what happens is that when we unify everything, then we viscerally understand, number one, our infinity, our eternalness. Number two, we understand that, there's no soul inside the body. The body is inside the soul. It's the opposite of what we've been taught. We've been taught that, the things are as they seem. They're not at all as they seem. If you penetrate deeper into anything, and there's an infinite penetration that we can go into about anything, but if you penetrate deeper about things, the surface stuff is almost exactly opposite of, what the truth about things are. And in the metaphysical world, we get a chance to, see the actual energy. We get a chance to experience it as a physical thing, not necessarily as just a conceptual thing. So in the enlightenment experience, we are in a higher space of processing what is going on. And we're processing it continuously, whereas in the lower states of consciousness, basically, we are dealing with events. But in the higher states of consciousness, we are dealing with it all. We are dealing with everything being us, the vastness of the universe. And this body is not something inside the universe, not a little insignificant thing in the universe. The universe is inside what we are, inside of our soul. So we are those things. Every problem is us, and every solution is us. And as we come into that realization, the expansion of our connection to the author, if you will, or God, whatever you want to call it, source, it becomes that much more profound because we are him, and we and he are together. The only difference is he's the author, and we are the whole body of everything else.
Acting out.
So, and it's the difference between belief. It's a difference between belief in a God and knowing God directly. So that's the enlightenment experience. It's a direct experience.
Did you say belief
Does
in
that
God?
help?
Did you say belief in God or echoing God? Is that what you said?
Or directly, or knowing God directly.
Directly.
Oh,
There's
okay.
a difference
All right.
between
You kind of cut out there a little bit, and I wasn't sure what word.
direct experience.
Gotcha.
Yeah, when most people think of God, they think of it as outside of themselves, separate from themselves. But there is a difference in the knowing of God. It's not outside of you. There is nothing that you pray to. It is you. So it's a direct experience. Does that make any sense?
Yeah,
You guys are frozen on the screen.
Are we frozen? Oh
no! The quantum, the quantum connection there of our being a body in the soul, not a soul in the body, is for a lot of people out there, it's just going to be like mind blown. Yeah, but it's good stuff. It's the in 3D, most folks don't even consider that kind of thing. So it's that's one of the other things that makes the books fun, right? Is that it expands the possibilities of what we typically think about and out there, and so that's really fun. One of the things I wanted to do, Harrison, is just take a look at the preview of your book, and just kind of look at what you've said to folks here in what you say in your preview, in your preface, is within these pages are many vehicles to fulfillment. These messages are an honest and extraordinary look at the spirit as it is manifested through my love and eyes. The soul connection was assessed and verbalized in these words and on these pages. Everything from money to joy, from relationships to core human values. It is fervent prayer. It is my fervent prayer that these messages stimulate new ideas, help you discover new meaning, and transform your life. At the end of each chapter, there are specifically designed exercises that will take you deeper into your exploration of connection and relationship. Please use a journal to record your insights, intuitions, and invitations to connect within. I hope that I have captured eternal light, love, and soul, and passed the torch of openness and receptivity to the spiritual freedom on, so that you may do the same. With great love, Harrison. And I think that preface in your books is really really great. And I was hoping that you could tell our audience just a little bit about what kind of exercises they can expect to see as part of these books. What does that even mean, that there are exercises?
Well, I have a bunch of weights here and some straps.
Weights and straps, goody!
We can run together if you want. No, basically, there are ways that, I see Rusty there. Is that Rusty?
Rusty!
Hi, Rusty!
That's Rusty.
Yeah, so what happens is that there are certain kinds of things that we can do to stimulate.
He's got an hour. Sorry.
I can't help but watch this dog, he's too cute.
We have the little moments in life that can be really, really funny, right?
Those are great.
Oh my goodness. Sorry about that, everybody.
All right. Okay, so exercises. So, for example, we may have, we may be stuck. Let's say we are, in terms of the wealth process or business process, we have gotten to a plateau. We can't earn any more money, or we are negative about our experiences with money, or we've reached what we believe is our maximum, and we can't seem to generate more clients or help or hope for other people or things like that. Well, there are certain things that will shift our consciousness, not only the statements, but ways that we can get to different things. So what I've done is create at the end of every chapter, one to several exercises that help us, activate the areas that we may feel stuck about, whether it be in money, activate a greater, belief in blowing our unlimited connection to money up. So I believe in unconditional money as opposed to conditional. And the reason why most people have a difficult time, generating more money at certain points in their lives is that, they create conditions for it, that it has to be this way. They don't even do it consciously. But as we know that we can eradicate the conditional experiences by saying and doing certain things. We can focus differently. We can shift our perspective on things. We can, write down, an old story and replace it with a new story, and then radically change our experience of life by simply what we tell ourselves in the self-talk, or a number of other different things like that. So every chapter on every topic has exercises that will take you to the higher elevation of whatever it is that chapter has happened to be about. So that's what the exercises are.
That's a really unique thing and a really great gift, I think, for people to have that experiential addition to the reading and expanding that knowledge base. That's really
one of the things I learned from one of my mentors, John DeMartini, a long time ago, was that there are certain reasons and whys behind a number of things, and if you can unearth the whys behind things, WHY. If you can unearth the whys behind things, you can actually move everything forward at a massively accelerated pace. So these exercises are designed to pick up your why.
right. Oh, that's great.
That sounds great. What a great addition to that. Yeah. So, Harrison, we understand that you have a gift that you'd like to give the folks who are tuning in, and they can pick it up.
But they have to come to my house to get it. No.
They do. Do you have an address? No.
Not on the air.
Actually, here's an address.
There is an address. We have an address.
Yes.
TheEnlightenedSelf.com/love. And
TheEnlightenedSelf.com/love. That's for a free. For a free giveaway. That's one chapter on love. And if you guys like that chapter, there are, I don't know how many other chapters in each volume of the book. There's 4 volumes of this book, but we're only doing 1 volume today. But I think this one, Dagny, you have a better handle on this. What is it, about 186 pages, something like that?
This book is about 188 pages. It's got, I think, 12 chapters. It's action packed. There's no volume 1 is really juicy. Well, all of them are. They're all just very unique. It sounds like they might all be the same because they're all kind of constructed in the same way, but they're all very different. And volume 1 has the chapter love in it that you're giving away for free to the folks who want to go to that webpage and pick that up. And again, that's TheEnlightenedSelf.com/love. And when you get that, you'll receive an email that will have that chapter in it, and with a part of that email will be a link that you can go check out the actual books on Amazon and see. You know, I'm sure you know some folks who might love to receive these books as a gift and stuff. So.
Absolutely. I think they make a great Christmas gift. And, you know, what's really fun is that, you know, part of what I've been doing lately, I haven't done this all the time, but part of what I've been doing lately is also working with some teenagers and kids. And this is great for teenagers because, you know, they are so ready and so open to having a better life, to having a joyous experience, to having deep insights, to, you know, just kind of sharing their growth process in profound ways with each other, that they're even more open than adults are to this.
Well, and having said that, not only, you know, a great gift for the holidays, but a great birthday gift, or you know, really any occasion, a book like this that is expanding someone's world is a heartfelt gift, right? It's and it's the one of the things that I think when you were talking about working with kids that I think is especially brilliant about these books is the fact that it's dated posts. It's wisdom in snippets. And in this particular day and age where the attention span has become fairly short for a lot of people, you know, Facebook post short, that's really nice too, because it's not, it doesn't kind of drone on like a typical novel. It's really like wisdom in different, you know, snippets.
Yeah.
And so
Most of the snippets aren't more than about 5 or 6 lines long. So you have thousands of them in a book, and ultimately each one designed to make an impact and a change in people's lives, elevate their lives, and not just change their lives, but to enjoy and elevate their lives, to lift them up. Part of the reason I'm on this planet, I believe, is that, you know, we all elevate each other. As we become more, we experience more, and we give more. And the more we give to each other, the greater all of us elevate. So it's sort of a rising tide lifts all ships kind of a thing. All shits are all ships. Both, they actually both work.
I love the snippets.
So everybody, again, don't hesitate to go pick this up, because it's really fun, and it's again theenlightenedself.com/love. And so, you know, gosh, Harrison, if you had any final thoughts that you wanted to leave with people about, you know, these books and what your intention is with writing and sharing these, that you'd have with our audience, what do you think?
Well, you know, I have studied genius for all of my life. I have studied from the time I was maybe 12 years old. In my autistic state, I've studied genius in the most, you know, impactful ways for me, the most profound ways for me. And, you know, the stimulation of genius is really the stimulation of new ideas. And so if you want to elevate yourself, you want to create ideas, and ideas are just different ways of looking at things. They're just angles, if you will. So like Picasso had cubism, he saw, you know, multiple different angles of the same thing on the same page. These are multiple angles of looking at things that are important to everybody on the same page. And so, you know, if you like to be stimulated, if you like to grow, if you like to have fun, if you like to be, you know, really kind of the conversational center of something, these will give you some good conversation pieces.
Exactly.
Yeah. And if you want to flirt with somebody, if you want to do sense of humor with somebody, if you want to make more money, there's enough here. There's enough juice here to stimulate all those things and start great conversaation. Have fun with people.
Have it on the coffee table during a party, and just have folks start reading different snippets and talk
about it. Yeah, exactly. Well, Harrison, I want to thank you so much for being on our show today, and your wisdom and guidance that you give to all of your students and everybody you contact, and for shining your light out into the world, because we really need that.
Oh, well, thank you so much, and I appreciate you guys having me. It's been awesome. We have known each other now for going on maybe 8 or 10 years or something like that, somewhere in there. Anyway, whatever that's been, and it's been extraordinarily enjoyable for me and loving. And you guys are awesome. And I just want to plug you guys for having some of the best wisdom and kind of connection with people that I know. I love you both dearly, and I hope we get to see each other very soon. And for all you guys out there in the audience, have some fun. Pick up this book. We're gonna rock the world. We're rocking the world together.
Right. It's time. It's time.
Yeah.
It's time. It's time.
I hope you guys get excited and obsessed with growth, because that's the intuition and the fun training of who we all are, and what we all want more of is us.
That's
right. We want a lot of other people, but what we want more of is to find out more about ourselves.
Who doesn't want to be happier? Who doesn't, who wouldn't love to be more happy, more present in the moment, more grateful, more loving, more kind, more empathetic, and have that all mirrored back to them in their experience? Who wouldn't love that? So, yeah, absolutely. Thank you again, Harrison.
And your dog Rusty knows all about that stuff.
Yes.
Okay.
Thank you.
He's a happy boy. Thank you again so much, Harrison.
Again, thank you for having me. I hope we touch the lives of a lot of people together, and rock on, you guys, because love is the answer, and all this is about different forms of love and expanding that process for everybody.
TheEnlightenedSelf.com/love. Go there right now.
Woo!
Later. Peace out, everybody.
Rock on.